Alright, this video is going to be how I make my Anglo Saxon Lyres, or Lyres, however you want to pronounce it. Basically starting with a 33-inch board. I like poplar. Poplar is the softest hardwood and easy to work with. I'm going to trace out a template right there. It's going to be the sound box. Here I am preparing to drill 1/2-inch holes in it. The holes allow me to fit the blade of the bandsaw in there. The jigsaw, I mean. Doesn't have to be perfect cutouts because we'll clean up the hand part. The sound box right there doesn't really matter. You don't see the sound box. Moving on, cutting rounding the corners off. Less sanding on the disc sander. Moving it over to the disc sander right there. Just cleaning the corners up. Looking good. I'm going to take a router bit and we're going to go ahead and clean up the inside of the neck of the instrument. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get it shaped up best we can. Clean it up with the rotary oscillating sander. Moving on to the front and the back soundboards. I usually get them down to about a little thicker than 1/8 of an inch. Tracing it out right there. It's going to be the back of the instrument. I take a Forester bit and I do the same thing I do with the bit. I cut holes right there in the corners. It makes it easy when you go to cut it out. Basically just doing the same thing on the other side right there. Japanese pull saw and cutting the cross grain right there, because if I usually if you try to cut it with a saw, it'll splinter it real bad. Alright, gluing it up, gluing the frame of it up, putting the back of the instrument on there. I use little wheel clamps you get from like hobby stores. Makes really good clamps. Taking the leftover piece from the side, I'm going to cut it in half and glue it together like you do a soundboard. Get a little tape, some glue, press it together, let it dry for a couple hours. And we're going to use, I would like to wet the grain of the wood, but I didn't have the extra, so we're going to use that right there and just go across. It's going to be in the back of the instrument anyhow, so it won't be quite as noticeable. Same thing, cut the corners out and then cut it out. That right there will cut out with the handsaw. Glue it up. Get it on there. By this time, we can shift some of the little clamps over. There we go, man. Starting to look good. We basically got the backboard on. clean it up a little bit with this sander right there. Use a hand sander, turn it sideways and clean it up even more. We're going to use a flush mount bit right there and clean the inside of the neck. This is going to be the soundboard. Trace it on there, cut it out the same way with the holes. Now for I decided to go with cedar instead. I had some cedar. I used just a picket fence, and I ripped it down, cleaned up the edges with a little hand plane, so lay it on top of each other and clean it with the hand plane until you can get a snug joint, and put a strip of tape down it. That way you can hold it up, put the glue down it. Same thing did with that little board. Clamp it down, get it nice and tight to where the glue's leaking out, and let it dry. Decided to go ahead and move on, and we're going to put a pickup in this one. Make sure it's level. Drill a hole that'll fit the pickup. Go ahead and solder the I think it's McNally pickup. Epoxied it on there with 5-minute epoxy. Plane that down to 1/8, a little bit above 1/8. Put it on there, trace it out, cut it out with a handsaw. Same thing. Holes in the corners, makes it a lot easier to cut out. Go put a sound hole in this one. Authentically, it's not correct, but they sound a lot better with a sound hole. Reinforcing it with glue and tape on the back of the joint. Cut the little section out. Going to put a little bracket brace. Brace made out of poplar, some leftover poplar wood I had. Decided while that's gluing, I'd go ahead and install and glue down the little pickup. Got it glued on, clamped down. Next day started. Cleaned up around the little pickup connector right there with a hand plane, because it won't be able to router it. Cleaned up the neck of the instrument right there. Used a router rounding bit. Went around the instrument and cleaned it up. Sanding. Using a little template to mark out the holes for the zither pins. Drilling them. Gotta make sure these are straight holes. Putting some natural stain on it. I like the way cedar looks, natural. So, installing the zither pins, tap them in a little bit with a hammer, and then put it rest by hand. Time to put an in plug. Working on the bridge next. Took a piece of wood, routed out a hole. Mark out the size of the bridge I want. Cut that in half, that'll make 2 bridges right there. I'm going to use a disc sander and clean it up a little bit, square it, get a little pattern, trace it, cut it out a little bit with a bandsaw. Turn the hand sander sideways and use the tip of it, round it it off. Works. Find center so we can point it off. The hand sander makes short work out of it. Did a tail piece. Stained it. Went with cognac. Synthetic tendon. Starting to put the strings. Put the E string on first. Need something in the back. Took a little piece of leather, cut it out, treated it, put some brown stain on it, stamped it, made it look real nice, treated it, got it in position so that way the tendon's not biting into the wood. Putting the rest of the strings on there. I decided to go with a long bridge instead of that little short bridge. And that's it. Finished instrument.